showtime.
That's great.
This is ridiculous.
The Truth Network.
Right now.
Ooh.
That's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
Let's do it.
Hit it. It's time for Mac's World.
And here we go.
Everybody, let's get it started. Let's get it started in here.
Call Mac 244-0077 or text 809-0993.
All right, now listen up.
Exclusively on The Truth Network, 99.3, The Truth FM.
6 minutes after 3 o'clock on the 29th day of April in the Lord's year 2016. I'm J. Michael McCoy. Welcome to a Friday afternoon here in Mac's World Live. Fridays are 15% more fun, and they may even be more fun today because my special guest is Megs. Just simply Megs. Oh, we could give you his long, sordid history. The many times that his name has had to been kept by an alias because, well, you know, they're looking for the boy. But now he's just Jesus freak Megs. And we're glad to have him here today. But you're up against a tough component today, Padre, because Chris Roloff and I have been having a little bit of a spat. And so you're going to have to help us with this. You have to talk into the mic.
Goody.
Okay. Now, in a little bit later, we're going to talk about inner peace and the signs that you have inner peace. And I think inner peace is great. Like you have a loss of interest in judging yourself. That would be a sign of inner peace. Or frequent attacks of smiling through the eyes of the heart. That would show you have inner peace. Well, Mr. Roloff, and I say that with all due respect, which isn't really much, but with the due respect that I can give him, he says, Megs, according to this, Jesus did not have inner peace.
Well, I'd love to hear Chris's thoughts on it.
Yeah, so we're not going to do it right now. We're going to do it in a little bit. We have to cover some news stories first.
I like it.
But then we're going to cover them. All right. Dateline, Ames, Iowa. Iowa State women's basketball coach Bill Fenley spoke out Friday afternoon after a lawsuit was filed earlier this month accusing him of racial discrimination. Former Iowa State player Nikki Moody filed the lawsuit last week. In it, she claims that Fenley called her names, criticized her and her family, and alienated her from fans, teammates, and her parents. Fenley? Okay, never mind. I'm just a journalist reading the story. Moody is seeking unspecified damages from Fenley and Iowa State. Fenley said he has been overwhelmed by the outpouring of support he has received since the lawsuit was filed. I'm not the person I'm accused of being, Fenley told the media. I'm not the person I'm accused of being, Fenley told the media. And there's been several other former basketball players who have come out and said, I've never seen that side of Fenley. Even some ladies who were black who said, I just don't, because Nikki Moody's black. So I just don't know where they're getting this. Nikki Moody was an average player, and it was never hidden from any of us in the media that Fenley and Moody were not, best of friends. And when Moody left, she got drafted by the San Antonio
I don't know the
Stars, okay. San Antonio Stars, and then she got cut from the WNBA. And just a few months after she gets cut, now all of a sudden the lawsuit comes out. So I can give you my opinion. You probably don't want to hear it, but I think this will solve itself pretty quickly.
Well, I think it's a little bit like the story I told you the other day about the black boxes in the Toyotas, and they had the sticking accelerator problems, and there was one particular woman who claimed that this accelerator stuck and took her into a barricade or something, and she tried to sue Toyota. Well, the black box technology told the people that she didn't have the accelerator stuck, that she purposely tried to run the car into the bridge, and to come to find out she was in debt and gambling or something, had either embezzled money from her company or something, and was trying to kill herself. So when the failed suicide attempt ended, of course, what's your next best step to get some money is sue a company for saying that the accelerator stuck, and that's why the accident. This is the same principle here. This woman could not make it in the WNBA, and now she's looking for the second best alternative to make some money, and that's go back and sue somebody for supposed sexual harassment that may or may not have happened. Just my opinion.
I think I think they should have recorded that as the opening statement for the prosecutor, for the defense. Don't you think? That was really good, Frank. Your mic's not on yet? He hasn't. Country Monkey hasn't turned your mic on yet? Okay, try now. I think he got it. All right. A Norwalk man is complaining that it's costing him thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars because he didn't properly stop when a school bus stuck their little stop sign out. Now, the gentleman's going to remain anonymous because there's a court case going on here, but I can tell you the truth. So this guy comes, you know the rule, right, Chris?
Yes, I do.
Just gonna say this.
Okay, now if you want to ask somebody about the rules of CDL driving, in disclosure, I drove a school bus for a period of time in my life, so I know a little bit about school bus etiquette.
Can you imagine being a poor little boy, kindergarten, first grade, first day of school, you walk onto the bus and there's Frank. Oh my Lord. Shock. Be worse than walking into a men's bathroom and having a transgender
Even
woman
worse
in there.
than that would be Frank the school bus driver. Hi.
Okay. So were you driving when they had this law about the stop sign coming out?
Yes, you first thing you done when you pulled up to pick up a child is you flipped on the flashing.
Somebody get the banjos here somewhere. First thing I done. Da 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 da.
You throw out the flashing yellows, which means give them a warning, give the drivers a warning that you're fixing to throw out the stop sign.
All right, now may I ask you a question?
Yes.
They're great cabbie, cab driver, bus driver,
Chauffeur,
Mr.
Chauffeur to you.
Mr. Chauffeur. Mr. Chauffeur, how many feet prior to stopping the bus must the flashing yellow lights be turned on?
Without brushing up on it, I would say somewhere 50 to 300.
200 feet.
Okay.
200 feet is less than 100 yards.
Proper etiquette.
Yeah, way less than 100. All right, so you turn on the flashing lights at 200 feet before you stop. When are you allowed to put the stop sign out?
Well, technically speaking, as a bus driver, it's up to your discretion. You can put it out whenever you wanted to, but for the courtesy to the other drivers on the road, I always give them the flashing yellow. And if somebody stopped, I would stick my hand out the window and I would wave them on because I don't want to tie up traffic. But when I get ready to get that kid on the school bus, I mean stop. So when I throw that red out, I mean stop at that point because I don't want nobody jacking around when that kid's in the getting on that bus.
All right.
And I always tried to get the kid on my side of the bus if possible. If not, and I had him crossing the street, I definitely would wait, pass people on. When I threw out red, that means stop. I've got that person ready to get on the bus. I was very cautious and aware of the safety of the children when I drove the bus.
Chris?
Just as a point of, I think this is technically accurate. I believe that when you open or close the bus door, the stop sign is connected to that lever. So in other words, when you push to open the door, the stop sign just comes out. They're not two things. So they're connected, right? So if you open the door, stop sign comes out. You close the door, the stop sign goes away.
Well, this was in a number of years ago when I drove this. This isn't current history.
This is back when you had to get out and push the bus.
Well, in those days, you had a panel of switches. It was up to your discretion when you throw those yellow switches, when you throw the reds, when you had to physically take a handle and pop the sign out or open the door.
So what's the story about anyway?
Well, hold on. I have an expert witness here that I think I'm going to trash here so we don't have to. So, Frank, how many years or decades ago?
It's decades.
Seriously. You're sitting here trying to tell me you're an expert in driving a bus, and it's been decades.
What I'm telling you
Did it have horses in front of it when you drove the bus?
I had to take
Did you go giddy up, Silver, giddy up?
I had to take a chauffeur's license to get that ability to drive a school bus.
How? But seriously.
It's been a number of years.
I don't know what a number means.
I don't know, 25?
Oh, my gosh.
But rules aren't going to change
Yes, they have. But but Frank, I really appreciate you stepping up and once again trying to show you know everything.
Well, I do know something about it.
You do. You did. 25 years ago. 25 years ago, you knew something about it. Megs?
I simply couldn't believe. I looked at my little boy last week and I said, hey, have you ever tried just stacking in your math? And my wife looked at me and she goes, they don't do it that way anymore. Now, I'm here to tell you what, guys. I still do it that way. You line it up. It's easy. Kids, they don't do it that way. Now, look, it doesn't make sense to me that they don't do it that way. It seems to me that way is a lot easier. But, as Frank can tell you, things do change.
So, Frank, I do appreciate, and let's go to the buzzer to see if Frank's information is current. All right, so we'll not go to Frank on this. So it's 200 feet for the flashing yellow lights.
But I'm going to know more than roll off.
Okay, then when do you put the stop sign out, Bob? Do you know? There's a rule here.
When you come to a full stop?
Correct. Ooh, ding, 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 ding. The bus must be at a complete stop. The stop sign goes out, and then nobody can go around the bus.
What if that kid is in the house, sick in bed, and you sit out there in the street, stopped in the street for a half hour? You can't tie up traffic for a half hour. I'm sorry.
So, and then the bus has cameras in it.
Stand by for news.
The bus has cameras in it.
Yes.
And they record somebody going around the bus, and if they do it when the stop sign is out and the yellow lights are on, there are fines involved. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you the story about this Norwalk man and what happened to him. If we can just get through one segment. Megs is here, Chris is here, Bob's here, Jeb's here, I'm here, and you're here. And that's really all that matters.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
Hey everybody, I brought Northern Lights Pizza! And it's got Graziano sausage!
Rock and Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens. Rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rock and Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
3, 2, 1. It's showtime. That's great.
This is ridiculous.
The Truth Network.
Right now. Ooh. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
Let's do it.
Hit it. It's time for Max World.
And here we go.
Everybody, let's get it started. Let's get it started in here.
Call Matt 244-0077 or text 809-0993.
All right, now listen up.
Exclusively on The Truth Network, 99.3 The Truth FM.
21 minutes after 3 o'clock. This is a ridiculous song, but we play it because Chris likes it. And it's important that you do what the boss likes.
Yeah.
All right. 29th day of April in the Lord's year 2016. I'm J. Michael McCoy. Michael Megason, the Megs, as he's simply known as. Actually, somebody asked me the other day, so do you know Megs? I mean, you're like Madonna, or Whitney. It's just Megs.
In about 3 settings, yeah.
No, I don't think it's more than that. A little bit later on, the warning signs of inner peace, and Megs and I, everybody in the world agrees with me on this, except Chris Roloff. Yay! He said Jesus did not have inner peace.
No, I said based on this standard, Jesus did not have inner peace.
That's what I said.
No, that's not what you said, but that's okay.
So that's what we're going to talk about. And then at 4:35 this afternoon, the Kelly Shackelford, who is going to be here 2 weeks from yesterday for our Faith at Work Religious Freedom Conference, which is out at the airport. Well, I call it the Airport Holiday Inn. I think it's called something different now. But anyway, we'll give you more information on that. Meanwhile, we're talking about a man in Norwalk, 64-year-old man. Listen to this. You ready? Never had a speeding ticket. Never had a parking ticket. Never had any type of traffic or moving violation in his life. He goes around a school bus and says the sign wasn't out. Okay, it was not out. The flashing lights weren't going for 200 feet, which is the rule. The bus must be at a complete stop in order for the sign to come out. That the bus was not stopping when he went around it. He goes home, thinks nothing of this. He's mowing his lawn or doing whatever he's doing, and 2 police cruisers with lights going come to his house. Is that your car? Yep. Were you riding it down Michigan Avenue a little bit ago? Yep. Well, I'm sorry, we have to give you a ticket for going around a moving bus. Well, I don't think I went around a moving bus. Well, we have you on tape going around a moving bus. Oh, okay, well, give me the ticket. So he gets the ticket. Goes that day down to the police department to pay for the ticket. First of all, he has to write and sign that he is pleading guilty to going around the bus. Okay. So, Chris, what do you think a ticket for going around a bus stop, a school bus stopped, would be?
I was going to go low, like $85, but I think it's higher than that because you got kids involved.
$5 bills.
I'm going to go with
$5 bills.
150.
150. What do you say, Frank?
$300 to $500.
Robert?
200.
Megs?
I'd like to ask my attorney.
$1. I thought you were going to go with $1. I felt like I was on The Price is Right. Somebody got to bid $1.
Captain Monkey, what do you think?
200.
Okay. He gets down there. He signs the guilty thing. Megs was right. Ask your lawyer.
Thank you.
$750.
And that's why.
And he's like, well, you got to be kidding me. $750? Well, I want to plead not guilty. Well, he's already signed the sheet. He's guilty.
Oh.
So he goes home. He's a little upset. A lot of money. He's retired, but it is what it is. Now, you think the story's over, don't you? Oh, no. Our government has found other ways.
Wait, there's more.
Wait, there's more. He gets in the mail 4 or 5 days later from the Department of Transportation that his license has been suspended for 30 days. And when he gets his license back, he will be required to have SR22 insurance. Everybody know what SR22 insurance is? It's
high risk.
Typically related to booze.
Yeah, it's usually related to OWIs.
Don't ask me how I know that.
This man.
How do you know that? No, I'm just kidding.
This man is calculating that this single thing will cost him over $6,000.
Holy mackerel. Yeah.
And he has on his record now a driving conviction that the DOT says is what? Equal to a DUI or an OWI, whatever you want to call it. So, the moral of the story?
Don't text and drive.
That's a good tip. Just in general, don't do that.
Just when you get behind a bus, dude, just know you're being watched and they're going to come after you hardcore. So either don't go behind a bus, and if you must go behind a bus, stop when the bus stops. Even if the bus stop doesn't have the stop sign out, stop, because even if the stop sign isn't out, you still need to stop. Yellow lights or none, or not.
Man.
That's a real story.
Wow.
Can you believe it?
That's
yet another rousing endorsement for Uber.
Yeah, right. There you go.
Well, clearly, speeding in a work zone, speed tickets, seatbelt tickets, all kinds of running red light tickets have all went through the roof on price. So $700 isn't shocking.
And, let's make sure that we call those fees that you pay what they really are.
Taxes.
Yeah,
extortion.
They're a tax. Extortion's good too, but they're taxes. So when people complain that they're getting taxed every place around the corner, don't be naive and think, well, all you get taxed on is 6 or 7 cents when you buy something, and when you get paid, they take a little money out. No. Bingo, bingo, bingo. All right, last story. I am a Hy-Vee guy, so I want to say up front that I'm a Hy-Vee guy. So when I say this, I'm not being critical of Hy-Vee. I want you to understand the power that they have in our community. Richard Hurd, which is a local developer, good guy, by the way,
he is,
decided he was going to buy some property at the corner of 31st and Ingersoll. And he was going to put, he had an agreement with Fresh Market. That's the new grocery store chain. And Hurd wouldn't say exactly what he was going to build there, but neighbors heard later on that Fresh Market, a small footprint grocer that specializes in organic and natural foods, had kind of made a deal with Hurd. So that would be a nice place to put that.
Yes.
Hurd told the Register, however, the downtown Hy-Vee changed the grocery market landscape. Now, what is this? This is 25 blocks away? Mm-hmm. I mean, they're closer to the Dolls. Well, it's not Dolls anymore. It's Price, whatever it is, Chopper.
Right, that's right. Isn't that on 31st Street? Or no, what is that on?
That would be on, hold on, let me think. I've got to drive
35th.
Up the street. Yeah, probably right, 35th. So just a couple blocks past.
Yeah.
So that didn't seem to bother Fresh Market. But the fact that Hy-Vee was going to be more than 2 miles to the east, Fresh Market said, no way, we're not going to do it. Hurd said it was a close deal, but the chain said no. Now Hurd sits with 5 lots. He's knocked down everything but one building because the one building still has tenants. He's knocked down all those buildings. Hurd went on to say they're all waiting to see the impact of the downtown Hy-Vee. It's a big empty plot now. And months to come, maybe we'll have a Fresh Market there or maybe we won't. So just the power of saying Hy-Vee is coming to downtown Des Moines has shut down another grocer coming to that area.
Fear not. Richard will get something fun there before it's all through.
That's a great...
Richard literally brought Nordstrom to town.
Yes.
When General Growth couldn't get him here.
Yeah.
He is one of the really, he's a friend, but he's also one of the best retail developers in the Midwest, probably in the country. And interesting side note, the business record said yesterday that Richard had also acquired about $80 million worth of Hy-Vee triple net lease stores within the last, I think he closed probably within the last 60 or 90 days. So I don't think it's a conflict of interest. Richard owns Quick Trips. He owns Come and Goes. He owns Hy-Vees. It's not a conflict of interest. He also put the Fresh Market out off George Mills. But those guys have very specific trade requirements, and sometimes they're willy-nilly. Sometimes they're like, this is what we do in Minneapolis. This is what we do in Des Moines, whether it makes sense or whether it doesn't. So if anybody can resurrect it, though, it would be him.
Now, and by the way, Richard's a very good man. I mean, a man himself, a good man.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
I know him too. Now, I want to clarify what Megs just said, so you understand that. You're thinking, wait a minute, Herd owns Hy-Vees and Quick Trips. Wait a minute, I thought Quick Trip owned Quick Trip and Hy-Vee was employee owned. Many times, real estate developers will own the buildings of big chains, big franchises. I'll give you an example of that. I was not a big deal. I had 3 or 4 or 5 6 or 7 restaurants here in town over the years. I never bought the commercial real estate. I was not in the commercial real estate business. I was in the hospitality business. So I would never own those. I could throw names out. Believe it or not, Wells Fargo doesn't own most of the Wells Fargo buildings. That's the name. I'm not going to say it because it's not my business to say it, but that's a very successful developer here in town.
It's public record. It's Uncle Bill.
Okay, it's Uncle Bill Knapp. And Uncle Bill's son-in-law.
I think maybe he sold them.
Did he sell them? Well, if he sold them, he probably sold them to his son-in-law, Mark Haviland.
He might have.
Mark Haviland owns most of the Bankers Trust locations, and Bankers Trust operates them. So it's not important who the name is. My point is that many times you wonder how Hy-Vee does this and they do that, and how can they afford these huge stores? It's because they lease them. They're a tenant, just like most businesses are. So anyway, I just thought it was interesting, the games that were being played, and you've got a Dolls 4 blocks away. Well, when Herd started, it was a Dolls.
Dolls doesn't intimidate Richard.
Well,
Herd Fresh Market. I mean, they've gone under. Ivy put them out of business.
Yeah. How many? Well, Dolls did own their real estate, right? Because they sold their real estate when they closed their stores.
I believe Dolls owned their real estate until about 4 or 5 years ago. They did a sort of master lease big refinance package before they went under.
Well, and why did they do that?
To raise capital.
Yeah, they had people who were retired who had money owed. What do you want to call that? Retirement money, I guess, owed. And if you remember, there was quite a stink in the paper about how many Dolls employees were not going to get paid off, and that's when they sold their real estate. Anyway, that's what happens when you get a couple of real estate geeks like Megs and I in the same room. Now, are there any questions, class?
I was just looking up. Fresh Market is, it's the place on Mill Civic. That's not the one. There's a I don't know what the one's called.
Trader Joe's.
Well, and then there's the new place on like 86th and
Hickman.
I don't know what that is, but
Natural Grocers.
Natural Grocers. There's a lot of these though, like healthy, smaller grocery stores.
Whole Foods-ish
type places coming up, and I don't see why they would be scared of the big box thing because they have a niche clientele that. But I don't. But again, I'm not in that world, so I don't know.
Hy-Vee's retail. Is so unparalleled in so many different categories that they're a category. They crush competition.
They're nice though. They are nice grocery stores.
They're great people. They're friends, but I wouldn't.
I'll be willing to bet
go head to head with them.
I'll be willing to bet you that within 5 years, and the reason I'm saying 5 is that's probably the initial lease on these Fresh Store, World Market, whatever. I'll bet you in 5 years they're all gone. Because you go into the new Hy-Vees that are being remodeled and built.
Sure, yeah.
They have entire sections as big as the other stores in fresh and alternative. All right. When we come back, signs of inner peace. Based on these signs of inner peace, did Jesus have inner peace? Chris says no. I say yes. Megs is here to determine. The rest of the crew, I'm J. Michael McCoy. And just like Jesus, I'll be right back here on The Truth.
Northern Lights Pizza's amazing garlic butter makes amazing breadsticks. Now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza. I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Homs.
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed. Fixed rate or it's free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed rate or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're going to make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
3, 2, 1.
It's showtime.
That's great.
This is ridiculous.
The Truth Network.
Right now. Ooh. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
Let's do it.
Hit it. It's time for Max World.
And here we go.
Everybody, let's get it started. Let's get it started in here.
Call Matt 244-0077 or text 809-0993.
All right, now listen up.
Exclusively on The Truth Network, 99.3 The Truth FM.
3:38, 22 minutes before the top of the hour on a Friday afternoon. It's Max World Live. I don't have anything to do with this hippie music that we're playing on the radio. This is a Chris Roloff thing. I just want you to know that. I used to have these nice little hymns that would play nicely in the background, like by the Gaither Brothers and those folks. And now all of a sudden, and the truth of the matter is,
what was that thing? What was that thing Stanley Hauerwas said? If we're gonna turn the church around, if we're gonna change culture,
yeah, there's one thing we shouldn't do.
We should never what?
We should never play hippie music.
Oh,
that's what he said.
Listen, we actually downtown we actually had a Led Zeppelin bumper in one of those that Roloff provided for us.
We did?
Yeah.
Oh my. All right. Do I have a phone call holding the? Oh, we don't know. He's talking to his. Do we have a phone?
Yeah, it's Lisa.
Does she want to talk to me?
Lisa, do you want to talk now?
This is a high quality broadcast.
I feel like
this is not amateur
Wymore,
hour.
Nebraska.
It's not. I promise.
Today's breaking news on W. Wymore,
yes.
Population 7. The pop machine at the garage has burned down and Aunt May's bird died.
And now for the obituaries.
There will be funeral services for Chipper the bird Saturday afternoon from 1 to 1:05. Services 1:05 to 1:10. Buffet dinner at Pizza Ranch following.
Mac, do you want to talk to Lisa now or later?
I don't know. What does Lisa want to talk to me about?
You said 3:30.
Are you talking Kelly or Lisa?
Well, it's Lisa on the line, but I think it's Kelly that's going to talk.
Okay, give us Kelly, give us Lisa.
Are you talking about our 4:35 guest?
Yes.
Look, what time is it, son?
Yeah, they called me.
They called me?
Is he an East
called
Coaster?
me saying you told them 3:30.
Is he an East Coaster?
All right, then let's bring Kelly on.
Okay.
I must have made a mistake here, and it
Never happens.
It's okay. It's a totally professional broadcast today. Hit it.
Ready,
Go,
restart,
Kelly.
go. Welcome to Max World Live. This is... Thank you. We love
Lisa
you for
and
listening,
Kelly.
every one of you. I'd give you a big hug right now if I could. Thank you so much for sticking with us. You are awesome.
He's still talking.
Oh, my word.
And I mean you, Ted.
That's right. And I mean you, Ted. I love you, Ted, specifically.
He's still talking. He hasn't given
This is
me
crazy. Let's
the
move
phone
on, man.
line.
Let's move on.
So how are the peanuts?
I love the peanuts. We have peanut. Man, I'm just moving this microphone. I am adding to the chaos of this broadcast. Thank you.
Max,
We're
I'm
professional.
sorry that you had to be here today and
It's
witness
actually been pretty entertaining, Max.
Has it?
Sometimes they get pretty intense. I like it.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the breakdown of complete adult communication, right?
The good news is I'm actually walking an inner piece. I feel ready for
Are
this
you?
conversation.
So no matter when we get to the inner piece,
When and if.
we're
It's
going to
good.
talk about it.
Yeah, maybe
All
off
right.
the air, but I like it.
All right. So if all right, good. There now. Hi, you're live in Max World. Who's this?
Kelly Shackelford.
Kelly, it's nice to talk to you.
Well, it's good to be on.
Sorry it took us so long to get that figured out.
Well, it went along for me.
Okay, good. So tell me the organization that you're with again.
I lead a group called First Liberty Institute. We're the largest legal organization in the country that all we do is religious freedoms cases around the country.
All right, First Liberty Institute, and you are you do more religious freedom law cases than anybody else.
Yeah, you've heard about a lot of the cases. Let's see, we just argued a big case this week at the military Supreme Court on behalf of a Marine who is court-martialed because she had a scripture verse taped to the bottom of her computer. We represent the coach that a lot of people have heard about who got fired because he went to a knee after the game to give thanks. The veterans memorials around the country where there's lawsuits to have them torn down because they have a cross or a religious symbol, we're the ones defending those. So just all kinds of cases, unfortunately, that we're having to fight to keep religious freedom intact.
All right, and we should remind people that Kelly will be here for a luncheon on May 12th. That's 2 weeks from yesterday. And it will be at the Holiday Inn, the Airport Holiday Inn, right there at Fleur and Army Post. And you can sign up by going to faithatwork.org.
Faithatworkiowa.org.
Faithatworkiowa.org. Faith at Work, and that's not at sign, that's AT, at workiowa.org. All right. So, Kelly, what's the biggest misconception that we as regular people out here just trying to do business and trying to go to work and trying to be good employees, what's the biggest misconception that the progressive narrative has us believing?
The biggest misconception by far, and it's been this way, I mean, I've been doing this kind of law, this kind of work for 27 years. It's been this way for pretty much almost the entire time, is people think that religion in the workplace is not allowed, that that's something that needs to be stopped, it needs to be shut down, and so employers don't think they have religious freedom, employees don't think they have religious freedom, and the law is exactly the opposite. I mean, we have the most protective, religious freedom protective environment of any country in the world, and that's both for employers who want to live out their faith and run a faith-based business, and that includes employees who want to be able to live their faith, and that includes their waking hours when they're at work.
So if I work for a major corporation or even a minor corporation, and I want to put a bumper sticker up in my cubicle that says "Wise men still seek him," or "Jesus saves," or my boss is a Jewish carpenter, I have every right to do that.
Yeah, almost every other workstation, if there's personal things displayed, which there almost always are, then you can't discriminate against the employee that, because of their religion. That's religious discrimination. The law doesn't allow that. It's kind of like if you're at lunch and you're talking about, the Hawkeyes and the most recent game, or you're talking about whatever, politics or anything that people talk about at lunch, and then somebody talks about their faith, and some employer says, you cut that out, I mean, they've just violated the law, because that's religious discrimination. You can't punish or penalize the person for religion when you allow other types of the same type of thing. And the law actually goes further. This is the amazing thing. The law, this is federal law. It applies in every state across the country who has 16 or more employees in their business. Not only can you not discriminate, but the law requires employers to affirmatively accommodate the religious beliefs of their employees if they can without causing harm to their business.
Kelly Shackelford is my guest this afternoon. He's with the First Liberty Institute. They protect religious freedoms. He will be in Des Moines on May 12th, 2 weeks from yesterday, for a faithatworkiowa.org conference. Tickets are available, and of course, this whole thing sponsored by The Truth 99.3.
Hey, Kelly, let me follow up with a question in the same vein of what you started on. Now, you mentioned, I think you were talking about private business. What if you're in government and you express something in government, or you've signed a non-disclosure or a confidentiality agreement in a certain business to have a job? Do you at any point ever forgo certain rights, certain religious rights?
Well, certainly, yeah. Like whether it's government, I mean, we've got cases of people who are being discriminated against in their faith because by government. I mean, these same laws apply there. For instance, Coach Kennedy, the coach who got fired for going to a knee after the game. I mean, that was at a public high school. That's the government. Still not allowed. But what you referenced there, like with some sort of confidentiality agreement or any aspect where the way the person is wanting to live out their faith, it would actually harm their business, violate a deal that they've made, et cetera. That's where the line is. I mean, the idea is we want to allow for the most religious freedom we can without people harming their business. So somebody might have a right to share what they believe, but that doesn't mean they have a right to run off customers. They might have a right to share their beliefs on something. That doesn't mean they can badger someone at work who says, "Okay, I know you're trying to be helpful here, but I've got to get back to work." And
Kelly Shackelford is my guest this afternoon from First Liberty Institute on religious freedom. He's coming to Des Moines. We'll tell you more when we come back live here on The Truth 99.3.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah!
If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens. Rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rockton Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
Northern Lights Pizza, your home of the tasty crust. Our garlic butter sauce now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
3, 2, 1.
It's showtime.
That's That's great.
This is ridiculous.
The Truth Network.
Right now.
That's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
Let's do it.
Hit it.
It's time for Mac's World. And here we go.
Everybody, let's get it started. Let's get it started.
Call Mac 244-0077 or text 809-0993.
All right, now listen up.
Exclusively on The Truth Network, 99.3 The Truth FM.
10 minutes before the top of the hour, Salem Radio Network News at the top of the hour. Okay, that's enough of that song. I can't handle that. That's like the Hansons. Remember the Hansons? You probably liked the Hansons, didn't you?
Nope.
You were at that age.
Nope. No, I wasn't.
How about the Nelson brothers?
I'm not that young.
My guest is Kelly Shackelford. He is with First Liberty Institute. They protect your religious rights. He will be here 2 weeks from yesterday on May 12th from, I think it's 11 to 1 for a noon-hour conference at the Holiday Inn, Airport Holiday Inn. You can get tickets at the following email address. You have to have tickets. Faith at Work, and that's not the apper sign. That's faithatworkiowa.org, and that's where you can get your tickets. All right, Kelly, I'm sorry I had to interrupt you. We were coming up on a hard break there. So what I understand you saying is if I work for a private corporation, I have the right to put a I Love Jesus sign in my cubicle or my office. If I work for the government, that's a different story?
No, same right. Same right. If they discriminate against you because you have a religious sign and somebody else has a different sign or different expression in their workspace, you can't do that. This is exactly the case we just argued Wednesday before the Court of Appeals for the Armed Services. This is essentially the military Supreme Court. It was a Marine who was court-martialed. Well, this is criminal. That's why it's so shocking, because she had a scripture verse in her personal work area. And that is totally against the law, and so we were up there to try to get that overturned this week.
What about, and by the way, thank you for the work that you do. We here in Des Moines had a front row seat to a very, very similar situation. Unfortunately, the accuser, the devil, won in that case, and a couple lost their entire business because they wouldn't allow a gay wedding at their wedding shop or their store.
Yeah, I think I know you're talking about it. We have a case very similar to that. We represent the two Oregon bakers who have been bankrupted and fined $135,000 because they would not custom make a wedding cake for a same-sex wedding. So very similar.
And they're completely within their rights to say no, right?
Absolutely.
Then why is this? I'm sorry, let me be calm. Why is this happening?
Well, there are people who don't want there to be religious freedom, and that sounds a little shocking when you first hear it, but that's the truth. I mean, I've been doing this a long time, and it's only in the last, I'd say, 2 or 3 years. I mean, the fight has always been sort of how far does religious freedom go? Where's the draw the line? All of a sudden, in the last few years, the fight is really over whether we should have religious freedom. And if people doubt that, I mean, these cases are examples, but look at what's happening in the states when states try to pass basic religious freedoms laws. They don't say anything about, LGBT or any of those issues. They're being attacked. All these corporations are being encouraged to come out and attack them because they say, if you allow religious freedom, then somebody might say that they have a different belief than me on, gay marriage or one of these other issues. And it was like, yeah, people are going to have different beliefs, and they have a right to hold to their different beliefs. That's kind of what religious freedom and freedom of conscience and freedom of speech means. But there are people who don't like that. They don't want that. And so these cases are an example with Aaron and Melissa Klein out of Oregon. I mean, they have lost their business. They've been fined $135,000. They have been told, in the opinion, not to speak publicly about their religious beliefs on marriage, and the judge said that they, quote, needed to be rehabilitated. I mean, I can't think of anything more un-American than that description.
Yeah, I can't either. Frank, you got a question?
Yeah, real quick question here, Kelly. There's an old saying about having the right to swing your fist wildly in the air, but that right stops where somebody else's nose starts. What's that fine line between the Christian's right to serve who they want to and the homosexual or whoever else is on the other end's right to not be discriminated against? Where's that line? Where's that fine line in your opinion?
Well, take these cases, for instance. A lot of times people use, I think, kind of lazy nomenclature, and they'll say, well, they're denying service. Well, no, none of these cases were they ever denying service. I mean, for instance, with our clients in Oregon, they knew this lesbian couple. They served them all the time. They had no problem selling them bakeries, etc. But when you try to use the power of government to try to force someone to participate in somebody else's wedding. I mean, weddings come through very sacred beliefs. People have beliefs. I mean, if anything is a sacred sort of doctrine, it's probably people's beliefs about weddings. So some people are going to have issues with what type of weddings and how they can participate and not. And in this country, we say, you know what? Let's let them have their right to believe, and let's let the people who disagree have their right. To be honest, I think that you have to really look to find people that don't want to be the florist, that don't want to be the photographer, that don't want to be the baker, because most people probably don't have those kinds of religious convictions. And so the idea that we're going to allow people to seek out and sort of make an example and destroy people who have different beliefs, that's just it goes against everything this country was founded. I mean, we were founded as a country on religious freedom by people like Quakers and all. People wanted to come to a place where, even though they knew their beliefs weren't going to be in the majority, that they could live at peace. And that's how these cases should be taken care of.
Kelly, we're running out of time here. One quick question. Can a homeowners association stop a private homeowner from erecting a small cross in their front yard when the neighbor down the street has a statue of St. Francis of Assisi?
Obviously, I need to know a lot more facts. The issue with homeowners, your only problem is going to be it's not the government. So the First Amendment is probably not going to help you because you've got a private agreement that was entered into by those homeowners. And so a lot of times it's going to be a contractual matter.
All right. Well, that was just a personal question. I appreciate you calling in today. Sorry about the confusion. I'd like to have you on maybe here one more time next week so we can continually to invite people to this Religious Freedom Summit. Again, Kelly Shackelford with First Liberty Institute will be our guest speaker. That'll be Thursday, May 12th, 11 to 1 at the Holiday Inn there by the airport. And if you want to get your tickets, it's Faith at Work. That's faithatwork.iowa.org. Kelly, I look forward to seeing you and meeting you personally, and thanks for being on Mac's World this afternoon.
Thanks for having me on.
You bet, Kelly. Bye-bye. All right, we're going to take our top of the hour news break with Salem Radio Network News and then signs of inner peace. Do you have inner peace? I mean, that joy, that unstoppable, never-ending joy of God, that Makarios? I've got a list here of what the signs of inner peace are. You can look on my Facebook page. They're there, too. Chris said Jesus didn't have inner peace. Megs is our guest. We'll talk about that when we come back live. I'm J. Michael McCoy, and like Jesus, I'll be right back.